Hello, good evening, and welcome to the program. This is Jubilee Scandinavia. Today we have our chairman, Mr. Kenneth Munge. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
We would like to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
First, we're going to start with recently you were in Kenya.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you saw there, why you went, what was your mission?
Yeah, my mission was really it was a personal issue why I went to Kenya. I did not go on official business as in Jubilee, but I tried to get contact with the Jubilee Secretariat. I got a number for Winnie Gushu, who is I think the assistant from the Secretariat. I also tried to contact Raphael Tuju, and as you might know, this time was really a tough time because it was during nominations, and you know, all Kenyans were really involved with nominations. It was a really tough time. The media was full up and people were really busy. I was asking, sometimes I was doing my own, like I said, business issues and personal issues, and everybody was giving excuses about nominations, even if they were not participating in any political seat. So everybody was like, I was asking them, are you in the nominations yourself? No, but you know, you understand it's nomination. So I was like, I mean, it was so, people were so much intense in political issues and trying to choose their leaders. The campaigning was so much, you know, yes.
And how popular do you think the Kenyans back at home were the Kenyans in the diaspora? Do they think much about the diaspora and things like that?
Who, Kenyans in Kenya?
Yeah.
No. I think this is one place that we need to make it very clear. The media in Kenya does not highlight diasporan Kenyans. And I think we have a problem, and I personally think that it's like they fear us. It's like they don't want us to participate in politics. You know, when you tell a Kenyan journalist or when you meet the media people and they know you are from diaspora, it's like they have some sort of fear. It's like they don't want you to comment about anything. And you know, the Kenyan also in the population is that when I meet people and talk to them about politics, it's like the attitude is like you are in abroad, you are enjoying in abroad. I mean, you shouldn't be worrying about us. You know, that is, there's a misinformation or a misconcept whereby Kenyans don't, we are not participating fully. But you see, my point from a political view is that the banks are recognizing us. You know, we have Kenya Commercial Bank, which is having a diasporan chapter in their own banking system. We have Equity, we have Family Bank. They are all recognizing the money that we send back at home. And even the government has highlighted that they are going to help diasporan Kenyans who are living abroad to come and invest in Kenya. We have real estate companies have come up, and they're really working very hard. Like Urithi is one of them that I can mention. I even met some of the Urithi people. You know, I saw the kind of developments they have in Juja, in around Thika area. They have Malindi, they have everywhere, Naivasha. And I paid a visit to some of their places, and they're really targeting diaspora Kenyans. So my issue is, if the money, or if we are being recognized because of the money we send back at home, which is a tag of about 80 billion Kenya shillings, I mean, why are we not being recognized about the politics of the day in Kenya? And it's not the Kenyan population that is against that. I think the media is the one does not give us that light of coming into it. We have contacted Jeff Koinange. He has not responded. Just like I said, these MPs do come here. We give them a time when they come here. We take them to restaurants. We eat dinner with them. But when we go back at home, they are nowhere to be seen. They promise us, when you come back to Kenya, call us. But when we go to Kenya and call them, they don't really respond. So this is the attitude, unfortunately. Yeah.
And how popular is Uhuru Kenyatta back here in Scandinavia, or the Jubilee in general back here in Scandinavia?
Well, Jubilee is a very popular party here. Like I said, when we launched Jubilee Party just last year, when we launched Jubilee Party here in Scandinavia, Stockholm, a lot of people had approached me on the issue that we are not hearing the diaspora involvement in Kenyan politics, where we need to support Uhuru, because most of the political giants in Scandinavia who I discussed with, they thought that the propaganda part of Uhuru's campaign and Uhuru's Uhuru's position is being very much overwhelmed by the opposition, and we thought that there is a weakness in understanding that Uhuru is really not doing, is not counterfeiting propaganda given which is being put to him by the opposition. But nevertheless, that was not the real issue. The real issue was that we believe that Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto are the guys who are good for Kenyans today. We need to go forward. We need to be on their side. You see, we've always been in the opposition here in Scandinavia, and at the same time, right now Kenya is moving in the right direction. So we need to be part of Kenya when it's moving in the right direction. Yes.
And when Uhuru came into power after Kibaki, during the Kibaki administration, he had started many projects that were going to take a longer period of time, and Uhuru vowed that he would make them to a completion. Those which are not complete, if he would not come back to power, how much damage do you think it would cause Kenyans, since it was thought that they were going to be for the betterment of the future development?
Well, as I understand it, I believe that in every shift, when one government is coming out and another one is coming in, well, they have to look at the projects which have already started. You know, we work in contracts. So, for instance, like the SGR is a contract which was there between the coalition government of Kibaki and the Chinese. And right now, as you can see, we listened to Rafael Tuju the other day when he was talking about why it was a $300 billion venture, now it is a $400 billion venture. So he explained that there are some adjustments that had to be made, whereby we have 50 carriers and whereby we don't use electricity. If we are to get enough electricity, it would be easy to upgrade that railway gauge into electricity. So those adjustments really cost us another 100 billion. But it is the responsibility of every government to see to it that positive projects that are being put have to continue, whether you're in the opposition or not. It has to go on in the sense that it has to be completed because it's for the best will of the Kenyans. But there could be maybe investigations that has to be made, and if the deals were not very correct, then it is a responsibility also of the government to make sure that the deal is right. Yes.
And what is your position on the high level of corruption still within the Kenyan?
Well, corruption is a cancer in our society. That one I have to admit. Since corruption is a big problem in our country. Some time ago, we met some MPs here in Stockholm who came here from, I think it was Turkana, all those areas up in the north. There was areas of Kajiado, Molo, and I think Kitengela. I don't know. These MPs really came here and they told us that corruption is, they don't have a solution to corruption. And I thought that was, wow, that was something that, I was not expecting a Kenyan politician to say, because I think that's political suicide when you say you don't have a solution to a problem like corruption. And that reminded me that I listened also to His Excellency, the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, when he talked about this interview he did where he was saying, what can I do? Mnataka nifanye nini? You know, that was also a very backlash. I don't know what people he had, I don't know who advised him to talk like that. I think it wasn't like Kenyatta, it wasn't like the president. Because when you talk about you've given resources to your administration, to the police, you say you don't have time, the constitution is tying you up. But you see, he mentioned about resources and money which he has spent on fighting corruption, but he did not specify on what strategy he was using, because the strategy is what is the key to fighting corruption. But nevertheless, let's say that all countries in the world have corruption. Even America, even in this country we live in Sweden, has corruption. But the difference is that corruption in America, corruption in Sweden is easy to investigate. You know, we know it's easy to identify who was corrupt and at what period the corruption went on, and even it's also easy to prosecute the people in corruption. But in Kenya, nobody ever faces the law. We can go back to the regime of Uhuru Kenyatta's father, Jomo Kenyatta. There was corruption. Then Moi took over. He ruled us for over 25 years. There was still corruption. Nobody was prosecuted. And Moi was famously known for having a commission of inquiries all the time. And then came Kibaki. Kibaki declared, when he came to power, Kibaki declared that people should declare their wealth, people serving in the government. And I believe it was only Kalonzo Musyoka who said had something to do with 60 million Kenya shillings during that time. And at the same time, we saw nobody else declared that their wealth. But according to opinion polls, 60% of the people dared never not to take money. So we can see, just by assuring Kenyans, because Kibaki had said Kenyans were he was going to investigate corruption and he was going to fight against corruption. So nobody dared to take money.
Let's look to the next. Kabogo has been on the limelight of the political current that has been going on in Kenya. And during a recent visit to Kenya, what did you sum up about Kabogo? Why has he been occupying
Kabogo,
the political
William Kabogo, I think it was so unfortunate because I'll tell you the truth, I was a Kabogo man, you know. I was like knowing Kabogo was gonna come back because Kabogo had done so much. I think he was a focused and a very energized leader. William Kabogo when I listened to him when he came to Jeff Koinange's show, he really talked, and I listened to him for the first time. I said, yeah, this guy looks like a really good leader, because you said he was really busy working, and now he had to come out and politic, because his opinions were going down, and when his political agenda was really coming up, so he had to come out and start politicking. But unfortunately, this is something that we have to always know in politics, that propaganda is very, very dangerous. Propaganda brought down Kabogo. Propaganda seriously brought down Kabogo. Kabogo, I don't believe, said these things that people were saying he was saying, abuses that he was using, because even if you look in the YouTube today, you know, even if you look in any media, you don't see any clip where Kabogo has talked all these things. If you want to know what people are talking about, you go to the clips that people have really recorded, and you hear this is what this man said. Kabogo is a leader who people film all the time, people take pictures all the time. Out of all these things that he's alleged to have said, I have not seen one clip that Kabogo is saying that women should line up like, I don't know, dog breasts, or I don't know, all this nonsense. This is propaganda. At the same time, Mr. Kabogo is also, you know, a governor in Kiambu. Kiambu is a very well developed place. Kiambu is not like, let's say, like Laikipia Marsabit or Turkana. You know, people of Kiambu, you don't build them a road and think that you've done Maendeleo. You don't bring electricity and say you've done Maendeleo. Kiambu is a very developed place. Kiambu has seen its share of many rich people. People like Matiba live there. People like Uhuru Kenyatta live in Kiambu, you know. And people like former politicians like Arthur Magugu, you know, Jenga Karume, you know, there has always been rich people in Kiambu. So I think that Kiambu people were misled about Kabogo. And I really feel that I'm not against, although I'm not against Waititu, because I don't know Waititu. I don't know who he is, but I really feel that Kabogo lost, because guys like myself, if I had to go and tell Kabogo, look, you're failing on propaganda, maybe perhaps he wouldn't have listened to me because I drive a Toyota. But if I had a Mercedes, maybe he would listen to me. Yeah.
What would you say, in short words, to the general Kenyans, both in diaspora and back at home, concerning the upcoming elections?
Well, I can urge Kenyans to vote for Jubilee. I can ask Kenyans who have the votes in diaspora to vote for Jubilee. I think that Uhuru is the best leader for our country. Uhuru is focused. Uhuru is tenfold ahead of, you know, the many mentalities that Kenyans have. And I'm not just saying that because personally I have interacted with Uhuru. Our talks that we had were not very political, but I could see he's a focused guy. And Ruto is also a very energized leader, especially when he came back from when he went into Kanu. And you know, during that time, Kanu, if you hear names like Biwott, Cornelia Cornes, you know, you knew that those were not names to joke about. And Ruto went back into Kanu, and he took the bull by its horn. So Ruto is a real Dume, if we say. You know, I really like a smooth, brave, energized guy like Ruto. So the team is Uhuruto. I mean, let's not mistake about it. And why I support Kenyatta and Ruto is that they're in a position to listen to us. And I believe they are good listeners. And I believe they really want to do something good for Kenya. While the opposition, you know, somebody like Raila has not done, he's an outdated, you know, communist, you know, we know who he is. So I think Kenyans should support Uhuru. We really prayed to God, if you remember very well, after Kibaki's time was over, Kenyans really went and prayed for a leader. We asked God to give us a leader. And let's not forget, we got Uhuru, we got Ruto. God gave us Ruto, and God is the case. Let's not diss them now. Let's see, because they took over a country, you know, which was very much with programs that were going on, like you highlighted, the SGR. There's so many other programs going on. We saw the teachers. They had also they did a strike where they wanted an increment in their salaries. Recently, there was a doctor strike. So they've also been faced with the challenges that are very, very, very tough for things. And also corruption. But corruption is, if I go back to that question, corruption in Kenya needs a new strategy. And I think that is what we need to talk about. A strategy whereby we cannot use the same corrupt police force to investigate corruption. We cannot use the same judicial system which is corrupt, which does not jail people, in order to fight corruption. We need a new strategy to fight corruption. And that strategy is what we have, and that is what we need to discuss with the government and officials. That we need to
do. We're going to be summing up. Thank you very much, Mr. Ken.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
Good
I
luck.
think we are going to continue very soon.
See you next time.
Thank you very much. Yeah.